Hello homemakers, for this project the tools and the materials that you're going to need are this, and also remember to buy your legs and also the handles that you're going to need as well. Get pumped up and let's get ready to build. The first assembly that we're going to do for this project is just to put the bookshelf base together. So with the base, it's a simple box, if I can call it that. So we'll start off with the frame of it and then just to assemble it in this manner. For this assembly, I'm going to be using a pocket hole jig. What a pocket hole jig is, just a jig that allows me to drill hole at an angle to give me a good joint. So if you don't have one, don't stress about it. You can always use the normal traditional way of putting the two pieces together. To assemble everything, I used my 40mm screws, so they were long enough to give me a bit of room so I'm able to have a perfect and nice joint. So if you have clamps, please use them. My clamps were not long enough for this process, so I decided to just use my hands just to make sure everything is tight and secure. So once you're done with your frame, it will just look like a nice rectangular form. It's beautiful, and then now you can get ahead and just sand down everything. So the purpose and the reason that we sand is it's for cosmetic purposes. So you can use an electric sander, or you can also use a block of sander if you have one. So when you're sanding, you're just cleaning up the rough edges and make sure that they're nice and smooth. And the next phase that I did was just to stain everything black, because I was going for a two-tone finish look, so I needed to stain before I assemble everything. So the thing I'm holding is a plate or a disc for the legs. So basically what I'm doing, I'm just joining the disc and the plate together with the wooden legs. So this is just going to be forming your legs. So you need the two of them, so that because the silver part disc helps to join the legs together. So this will be for your bookshelf. Here I'm using my 10mm screws just to fasten the base of the bookshelf. So just make sure that everything is tight and is secure. If you want to stain or paint the bottom of the frame, please go ahead and do it. I didn't do it, so I love how this turned out, and now we have to move on to the next phase. For the structure of the bookshelf, I'm using wood which is called shutter plywood. So what I'm doing here currently first is the one thing that I love doing, which is pre-drilling. The reason that we pre-drill, I do it for two main reasons. One, it avoids my wood from splitting, and then the second reason is that it makes life easier when you put in the screws inside, so you don't have to struggle. To reinforce the strength of my bookshelf, I use wood glue between the joining surfaces. So please also consider buying wood glue so that you can use it in your joints. In this segment, what we're doing basically a box. So this box will be forming part of our drawer. So I really struggled joining these pieces together. The reason for that is that my clamps were not long enough to be able to accommodate the wood cuts. So if you have clamps, please consider using them as well, or ask someone to help you hold the pieces together. So you must always put screw in the top, middle, and also the bottom part of the structure of the box of the bookshelf. Once you're done with one side, just repeat the same process for the other side as well. Always remember to put your wood glue for a more reinforced structure. So I don't recommend that you join your wood cuts in this manner, the way you can see it, because it's not an accurate way of joining. So if you what I advise that you do, just flip it and let it sit flat in the surface, because this is not an ideal way of joining the two pieces together. If you're loving the content, please do tell me, and also like this video and also share it with your friends and family, and let me know down in the comment section if this is a project that you're wanting to try. And remember, let's start small and then we can advance as we get better and better. So the last part of this drawer part, what you need to do is just to fill up the top. So always remember wood glue. I'm always gonna say that, always. So if you don't wanna have a permanent structure, you don't have to use wood glue. But if you want something which is permanent and strong, use wood glue so that your joints must be strong and tight. And remember to pre-drill your wood. So when we pre-drill our wood, it gives us access. You can see that here I'm just putting my screws on because I've previously just pre-drill my wood, so it makes life easier when you do it that way. You'll notice for this bookshelf I'm not gonna use hinges on the side. The reason for this is that I don't have the right exact size hinges that I want. I looked all over the store, so I'll do a separate video on how you are able to do hinges for your drawers. Once I was done assembling the box or the drawer part, so what I needed to do, I just needed to make sure that it's gonna sit nicely and flat onto the base that we done previously. So I was happy with how it was. Then now I needed to move on to the next phase, which is making the actual drawer part. So here I'm just assembling the drawer part. So making a drawer part is just making a box. So we're literally just making a box with 4 sides and the base part. So the trick in making a drawer is just to make sure that your measurements are accurate and up to point. So always make sure that everything is aligned and you're able to join the pieces together so that you can have your drawer part. So for this drawer, just make sure that when you're putting everything together, your screws sit flat and then they are right inside. The reason for this is that we don't want your screws to be right outside because it's gonna prevent your drawer from moving up and down. So when you're assembling everything, always note that you must remember to cut your lid, which is the part which holds the handle onto your drawer. So you can see for this project, the main item that I'm using is my drill and the electric sander. So don't be intimidated about the things that you do not have. Always start with what you have, and if you don't have wood cutting equipment, always ask your hardware store or your home improvement store so that they can cut the wood for you. So this year, let's do something different. Let's start making our own furniture and our DIY projects. So this part that I'm holding is going to be forming part of our drawer, which is going to be the base of the drawer. So you just put wood glue between the mating surfaces and just screw them on. So if you have a hammer and nails, also use the hammer and the nails as well to just put this part together. I think I'm done with the major part of this bookshelf. So now that I'm done with the drawer part, what I needed to do was just to make sure that it fits perfectly with the structure of the other drawer part. So the trick here is just to make sure that the spacing is properly done, and then that you make sure that your measurements are up to point, because if they are not, your drawer will not be the shape that you want it to be. So the other portion that I needed to do, this is the lid. This portion that I'm holding here is just the lid. This is the one that closes the drawer. So I think at most this is the most important part. If you get this part wrong, that's the part that will just make your drawer look unpleasant, if I can say that. This part is very interesting. Let me actually show you a trick on how I do my handles. So I always put paint or stain at the bottom of the handle. Thereafter, once I'm done putting the paint, and then I've marked where I need to put the handle, and then I just press it down. That's the easiest trick in the book. So just press down, and where the marking of the paint is, that's where I know that I have to draw. So there's also a drill guide that you can purchase. It's less at your hardware store. You can purchase the drill guide if you're not comfortable with this trick. So once you're done where the markings are of the paint, I just need to pre-drill and do exact openings. So most handles always comes with their own specified screws, so use those just to put your handles together. So when you're doing the opening prior, make sure that it's wide enough to accommodate the screws, and just fasten everything and make sure everything is tight, and you're good to go. You have a handle and a drawer. So here on the next phase, what you need to do is just to make sure that you put the lid on. So the lid is actually the star of the drawer, if I can call it that. So just make sure that the opening is sufficient and it closed shut and it's perfect. Then once you're done, just fasten everything using your screws. You can put as much screws as you want, as you prefer, to make sure that it's securely tightened. Then once you're done, just test out your drawer and make sure that it fits perfectly, and then you need to put on the hinges. So for this phase, what I needed to do was just to fasten the base of the bookshelf with the drawer. So I was just putting screws throughout. throughout the box of the drawer. Just make sure that they're tight and secure and you're good to go. And another tip, just make sure that it's all aligned and in a straight line position, and also this distance between the left and the right is the same. So the next phase here, what I'm currently doing is just to put the other meat of the bookshelf. So this is the long part of the bookshelf. So if you have clamps, use them. So my clamps were perfect for this position, where I'm able to just put them together. So what I did was just to put 3 screws on each side, top, bottom, and the middle, and also in the middle of the wood cut as well, so that the structure must be strong and reinforced and it mustn't shake or move around. Basically, in this phase, we're just repeating the previous step all over again. Use your clamps to just clamp down everything, and remember your wood glue when you're joining this process. So we're done with the left and the right hand side of the bookshelf. So now we just need to flip it around. So if you have someone to help you, please ask them to help you. So this is just a support brace that I'm holding, just to support the top of the bookshelf, and also to make sure that the two sides that I joined will not shift or move around. So I've used pocket hole joinery to join the two together. You can also use the screws and then just put the screws on the left and also the right hand side of the bookshelf. So the top part that I'm fastening together is for cosmetic and also for reinforcement purposes. So just join it together using your 40mm screws, and make sure that the left and the right hand side is all in a straight line position, and the distance between the overlapping side is the same. And here what I'm doing is I'm using my 6mm shutter plywood just to close off the back. You can actually leave the back open if you desire, but I decided I just wanted to close off the back for a nice defined cosmetic look. So for this part, my camera angle was not the best, so I will need to do a separate video where I need to show you where you're gonna put the shelves. So here we're just putting the shelves. I was just drawing the lines on where I was gonna put the shelves of the bookshelf. So the trick here is just, if you have a straight line ruler, use it and just make sure that you drill in a perfect position where it's straight and you're able to put your shelves. To be honest with you, this project exceeded my expectations. I'm so happy at how this turned out. I am so excited. I love the color combination. The black and the neutral color looks perfect. Please do try this project. Let me know down in the comment section if this is the one project that you're crazy about, and if you really need this. Comment down below and say, I need this. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your love and your support and all the continuous comments and the appreciation. I really appreciate it. So enjoy this project, share it with your friends, share it with your family, and also try to make the DIY table that I did previously. I'm gonna link it down in the comment section below. Thank you so much and enjoy your day, and until next time, thank you.